Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I have the pleasure of welcoming Jeri Williams to my channel of Smooth Accounting. And Jeri, it's a pleasure to have you here as a guest and looking forward to getting into some really awesome content.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Cool. So for the audience and everyone watching, I've brought Jeri on because I've been very keen to actually speak with Jeri for some time now. I've been connected with Jeri through LinkedIn for God knows how long. And Jeri, you stand out when it comes to all other accountants. And that's why I knew that I wanted to get you onto the channel. I'd been trying to search for you and then you popped up the other day. So it's awesome to have you here. I want to dive into not only your business as an accountant yourself, but also you have a very good social brand, and you are basically sitting in a position of key person of influence within your industry, which is awesome, and we'll dive into that at the end. But we're going to cover off, I suppose, what some people might see as the boring part, but actually really important information. So, Jeri, if you can just give us a 30,000 view of who you are and what you do.
So I'm Jeri Williams. I'm an accountant, stroke business owner, I guess, more on the business owner side now than accounting side now. I started Smooth Accounting about 5, coming up for 6 years ago now. I started it just at home by myself, and now have a team of people and loads of lovely clients. And yeah, it's just grown. It's just gone from strength to strength really from the start. So it very much runs mostly without me now. So I don't do a huge amount. I still do most of the marketing and some of the sales side. But other than that, I don't really get involved that much. So I also coach accountants now. So I have my own coaching business. So I coach accountants and other business owners, basically how to kind of go from that chaotic space into a more managed space where they can earn more money and do less work.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Well, what I want to start with, I want to lead this up into and then finishing on your business and your entrepreneurship sort of and where you are now. But I want to start with the accountant side of things. So, you know, for people that might be watching this, they're either an entrepreneur starting out, they're in business, property, whatever it might be. But how important is it for someone to have an accountant? Like, is it mandatory? Do we need that sort of that guide? What part does it really play for that entrepreneur business owner?
Probably a little bit biased with my answer on this, but I think it's one of the first things you should be doing really, because what we see quite often is people will come to us sort of in a panic, or needing their accounts done. And sometimes at that point, it's going to be so much harder for us to do the accounts, or we've got to unpick a mess, or the company hasn't been formed correctly in the start and it's impossible to change it at that point, or it's a complete pain to change it at that point. So we'd much rather get involved sort of earlier on so we can advise people kind of how to set it up properly and then manage the finance side of things from the outset in the easiest, simplest way. So it doesn't get to that point where it's stressful and, people are panicking basically about what they need to do. You've also got things like there's tax planning, VAT, all these kind of things that people need to understand before they start a business, because it has such a big impact on what you're doing. Everyone's in business to make money. So if you're not in control of your tax or, any of that side of it, then, it can go really wrong. And we see that happen, sadly, where people have just gone, oh, I'm going to focus on building the business, growing the business, and, sales and marketing and all those things, and just kind of forget about accounts. So
yeah, take the pressure off. Takes the pressure
yeah,
off.
Definitely.
Well, what I would say, so, for anyone watching that is thinking about having an accountant or you've been running your own books, that there is a massive pro. I mean, I've been with a few accountants now. The one that I have now is brilliant. And what I've found, and this is something that I really want to touch on, especially with yourself and how much you're there in the marketing space and really setting yourself as a brand, is that how do you conduct thorough due diligence to make sure you get the right accountant? Because I think there's a question and perhaps where people sit in a position of, is the pricing good for what I'm getting? How do you, some people starting out, they don't know what to compare it. So what due diligence to find a good one?
I think that it is hard. And I think that's the same with anything, with any professional. People will quite often go off recommendations and things like that. We have a lot of Google reviews. So I think that's really useful for people, because we've got so many on there that should fill people with confidence about what we're doing. Also, we're chartered accountants. I'm a chartered accountant, but my practice is chartered. The majority of my accounting team are qualified accountants, which is quite unusual as well. I think that quite often you get what you pay for, not always, but if you want cheap and cheerful, then that is what you're going to get when it comes to accounts. You're not going to get the kind of frill service and the added support and things like that. So it's like any service or product, I think usually you should get what you pay for. I'd like to think that was the case. You just have to look at recommendations, I think, and, case studies, that kind of thing.
I want to address something when it comes to accountants. Now, you're probably going to give us the right answer, or certainly your answer is that we sort of have this image that this old school, male, female accountant who is just pushing paper and very serious and almost working more so for HMRC and in favour of more tax. How do we kind of look for that, what I call new school, like yourself, accountant, that we feel that they're going to be working for us? Because ultimately I think that's what it's about, is that you're working for us and that you're going to be as efficient as possible, while obviously paying a reasonable rate for that accountant. How do we determine who the old school ones are that are very much the paper pushers, to someone like yourself who's out there building a business, marketing, branding, it looks great? So how do we find those?
There's probably a few things. I mean, accountants that charge by the hour or increments, whatever, charge based on time, I think are usually quite traditional and more old school. So if you're going to be told that you're going to get billed however long it takes or whatever's on the clock, then that's a big indicator as far as I'm concerned. That is absolutely not the way we do things. We're all about fixed fees and offering value to clients, not time. We're not selling time. I'm not going to penalize my clients if someone takes longer to do something. In my firm, I don't want people taking longer to do things. I want them to do it as quickly as possible. So billing by the hour is definitely an old school way. Paper, again, we've never had paper. We've always been electronic signature practice from day one. That was really important to me. So I think if your accountant isn't using technology or a digital practice and is doing these more archaic things, then how are they going to support your business in terms of growth? And it's 2022, so you want someone that's kind of I guess, like, we're a digital practice. Everything we do is based around technology. So if your accountant isn't doing that, then how are they going to help you with that? We help our clients with the right software to use and how to bring efficiencies into their business. And I don't think it's efficient, to still be sending out paper in the post to clients. And it's annoying, if you receive something in the post and you've got to sign it and post it back, like, who's got time to do that? So those would be good indicators, I think. And obviously you can look on their website and social media and stuff, see what they're doing. But
I also find that, I don't know what you think about this, but I also find, and it was one of my old accountants, is even when you look at the office, like, it hasn't changed from the 80s, and you look at it and you think, let's move with the time. So you are absolutely right, and for anyone watching, those are massive indicators, and they were for me. And I think what pushed me to move to the accountant that I'm at now is the previous accountant did exactly what you said, is, you pick up the phone just to ask a quick question, and then 10 days later I actually had a bill through the post. It was just insane. So massive indicators. So there is a bit of a jump, really, when we're looking at that old school to kind of the millennial and Gen Z accountants. So the branding, obviously, I just want to touch on your branding. You've kind of nailed it in the sense of, even for me, I don't see many accountants doing what you're doing, which kind of offers reassurance. I take it that's obviously played very well for you to take on more clients, is that you're an accountant that's out there and almost giving away this free content so people want to come and work with you.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of all those things. We rebranded a few years ago to Smooth Accounting. That was a big part of it. And I based a lot of our marketing at the time, prior to that, during and after the rebrand. That was massive. Me, on my personal brand, is is very strong. And I just did a YouTube video about branding actually that I just put up a few days ago. But it's all about, you know, how I've built my business off of my personal brand and my corporate brand as well. So, you know, it's great having both, but I think you should have both. People see me online, or they see the content that I'm putting out, and they want to work with me and with the company that I've created. And I think that just builds trust. And that's really, really important. You just want to build trust. And it's one of the ways of doing it, I think, is being out there on socials and giving out free content and advice.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think it really builds the trust like almost instantly if they can see that you're out there and you're up to date. Now, what I want you to do, Jeri, is I want you to bust this myth, because this gets asked all the time, especially in property.
What's the myth?
Is that if you're going into a property business or, you know, a finance business or whatever it might be, a lot of people seem to think that you need an accountant, or it's portrayed that you need an accountant that is in that business. And if you have an accountant that isn't within that business, you're not going to get the best service. Is that true? Do you deal with people in property?
Yeah, we have loads of that. That is very true. And a lot of accountants niche. We have a lot of clients that are, you know, private landlords, commercial landlords, corporate landlords. And we act for all of them, and it's absolutely fine. You know, we're chartered accountants at the end of the day. You know, we know what we're doing, and, you know, there's nothing around that subject that's too complex for us or unusual for us to deal with. There are a lot of accountants that specialise in property. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing to niche at all. But, you know, having said that, we deal with a number of different industries, and we don't really particularly niche. We do have a lot of clients that are professional services. We do have a lot of clients that are e-commerce, but we also have clients in every other industry going. So I don't think you need to specifically niche pick an accountant that niches, sorry. But that, having said that, you know, if you're using one that does specialize in that, then that would also give you a bit of, I guess, confidence in their ability.
Yeah, because I have to say that my answer is normally that an accountant is an accountant. You know, it's kind of, I don't see there's going to be a huge difference from someone who's also, I get there would be the understanding, but okay, no, that's cool. I wanted to ask that question. So what I want to now touch on is kind of around your social brand, because it is very good. And what we'll do is we'll include all the links in the description below. Is that,
thank you.
You've built up a very good following and connection on LinkedIn. So how big of a part, because LinkedIn's something at the moment where, especially conversations that I'm having, is that LinkedIn seems to be getting a lot of attention at the moment, and it seems to be a very hot sort of platform to use. How important has LinkedIn been for you to build your brand and become this accountant of position?
LinkedIn's been massive. Yeah. I mean, we get a huge amount of business from LinkedIn. It's great. But I'm very careful not to kind of pigeonhole my business. And I've been like that from the start. So where we've got a lot of our clients from has changed over the years. You know, in the early days, it was a lot of local networking. It was Facebook massively and stuff. Then we started to develop our website more on our SEO and really invested in that. And then over time, that's got better and better and better. And then I started using LinkedIn when the Facebook kind of organic reach just fell through the floor, or you had to pay for it. So I moved to LinkedIn where it was free, and I get a lot from there, get some from Instagram, building the YouTube channel for that exact reason, because, you know, that'll be another kind of generator of new clients. So, you know, if LinkedIn kind of ended tomorrow, my business will still continue to grow. And I think it's really important that even though LinkedIn's brilliant, and it absolutely is, the organic reach is mental on there, it's incredible, that you don't rely on it 100%, because who knows what will happen. I'm sure it's not going to be free and incredible like that forever.
Yeah. So some top tips on LinkedIn, because I know some people who will watch this and they are interested in LinkedIn. Did you, in your early days of starting your business, were you very sort of forward, you were prospecting, or did you find that actually people were coming to you through LinkedIn? How did you find the engagement?
People definitely came to me. I just used to post all our video content. So I was making videos years ago before, you know, there weren't really any accountants doing video marketing at all. And so it was very eye-catching, I think, on LinkedIn at the time. And so, yeah, I've never sort of approached anyone. I've never sent a connection request. I probably could count on two hands how many connection requests I've sent or DMs I've sent first. I just don't really do that. They've all come to me, but I would constantly put content out every day. And that's just how it happened, really. People would approach because of that.
I remember actually seeing you in the early days putting out the videos. It used to say, you used to go through the feed and you would pop up all the time. So, I mean, it's paid dividends. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it has.
So for those that are watching, again, you know, sort of my audience is very much entrepreneurship, people building businesses. You know, you've gone and built yourself a very successful business. Like you said, it's automated, it runs itself. What kind of top tips would you have in the day and age that we're in? We're in this millennial, Gen Z. You know, it seems like people are making money very quickly on the exterior. Some people are, but obviously there's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
What sort of tips would you say to people watching this who want to start a business? What insights could you offer those, you know, to essentially in 2022 to launch a business?
To launch a business, I think planning would be really key. I don't think I planned enough before I started my business and kind of threw myself in head first, and it was really chaotic and stressful. And I think I should have planned a bit more about what I was going to do and how it was all going to work and all the different elements that you need, you know, all the bits of the business. You need IT and the legal side and, you know, all of those things. So I think planning would be key. I've got a new video coming out tomorrow, actually, on YouTube about 10 business growth hacks. So that will be really good, I think, for people to watch just in terms of growth, if that's what people want, fast growth, because people say they want it, but not everyone's willing to do what it takes to grow a business fast. And it's hard, you know, it's a lot of effort, but if you are willing to put the effort in, then you will see the rewards from it. You just can't kind of wish for it to happen. You've got to make it happen.
Do you find that people, I certainly find this, that people set themselves many goals, they don't focus on one thing, they end up spinning 5, 6, 7 different plates, and they plateau and then all plates fall off, rather than concentrating on what's ahead and sort of reducing that. Do you see what I mean? That's what I see quite often, is where people set themselves really big goals, and many of them, but never actually hit any of them. So, you know, is that something that if you could go back, you know, you would have focused more in a certain area and just sort of really gone harder, you know, launching the business, starting the business, the brand, whatever it might be? Is that something you would have done?
Yeah, I mean, I think I did do that. I think I just went all out for my accounting business. That's all I did, you know, all day, every day. So you have got to focus, you know, on, and then I think I've also seen aspects of myself where I've kind of been a bit half-assed with loads of things. And then like YouTube being one of them, you know, like putting the odd video up once every 3 months, and then wondering why YouTube's not doing anything, you know. And it's like, actually need to concentrate on YouTube in the same way I concentrated everything on LinkedIn, and that did really, really well, you know. So you can't just sort of spread yourself too thin. You've got to really, really focus on what it is you want to do and really go for it. I definitely did that with my accounting business, and that's why it did so well. Yeah.
I find exactly the same. And what I want to touch on now, actually, because many people will be starting a YouTube channel, because I know I run a YouTube group, and actually I know that they'll watch this, and I know that they'll take a lot of value from what we're now about to cover, is that with YouTube, firstly, what is your vision for it? You know, because I don't think people, unless they start YouTube and have that vision, it is a business essentially, isn't it? So what's your long-term vision with YouTube?
It's changed. So initially it was like, I'll have a YouTube channel because I should have one, because I do video marketing. So why have I not got one? So, okay, let's just start a YouTube channel. And then, I'm going to be doing podcasts. So I need to have a YouTube channel for that reason, to put the podcast out. And then more recently, it was kind of, I set myself a personal target that I wanted to get 1,000 subscribers, and I wanted to do it by the end of the year. And I was nowhere near it. And so I went on this massive campaign, just begging and pleading everybody to subscribe to my channel. So I managed to hit my 1,000 subscriers by my deadline. I was really chuffed that I did that. So then it's like, now I want to get my watch hours, and it's more of a personal target. It's not, I just want to get paid from YouTube, even if it's 50p. It's not about the amount. It's just about whether I, as a person, as an entrepreneur, if you like, and accountant, can get paid from YouTube, you know. And I've got 2 young sons. They're on YouTube, all the, you know, YouTube Kids, and they love all the YouTubers, the gamers and all that on there. And so for them to think that like mummy has a YouTube channel and, you know, has got all these people watching her on YouTube, like they think it's really cool as well. So I think my goals have changed with YouTube, and they probably will continue to change. Long term, really, my aim is to put out valuable content and advice for free for people. That's what I want to do. And I want to do that long term. I want to keep putting out videos. People ask me questions all the time. If I get a question, I turn it into a video and upload it to YouTube, because I don't think there's enough easy to understand accounting videos that are not dull on YouTube. You know, I watch some sometimes and it's like, you know, you can fall asleep watching it. I don't want them to be like that. I want them to be funny. I want to have jokes in there. I want to be sarcastic because that's what I'm like, but equally giving value to people so that the everyday person can learn something from it. That's what I want to do long term.
So funny, because before we spoke, actually, I can second that. I've looked a few accountant videos up and they are all dull, all boring, and again, the word old school. So bring in something new, and obviously I've checked out your channel. It's that sort of upbeat, and I think your video, to be honest with you, I've seen your videos for a long time. They've always been that sort of character, and you know, people want to watch to see what you'll say, and you know, so it's worked very well. And you know, isn't there so much potential through YouTube? And I keep trying to tell people this, is that, you know, I suppose until you step into the world of YouTube, not everyone can understand the true possibility of it. And just like you, is to get that, even if it is that first 50p, a pound, you know, whatever it is a month, it's a real milestone. And touching on that, because this is something that I really try and stress with certainly those that I speak to, is this compound effect. If you could just sort of, you know, even go into it as well, if you've sort of experienced and can see the vision of the compound effect, that once you essentially hit that bracket on YouTube, is that, you know, you have these filters for affiliate, you know, you can link it to your website, everything compounds, and that's something I'm excited about.
Yeah, we have clients that are YouTubers. I mean, they're like getting paid mega money off YouTube, but they talk to me about it and then give me tips and advice, which is great. Loads of people have given me tips and advice, just so nice. But you know, I think if you put it out into the universe, if you put help and advice out, it comes back, doesn't it? But yeah, there's the possibilities are endless, really, with it. And I think it baffles me that people will spend a lot of money on their website. They want Google to find their website. Google, you know, biggest search engine. Google owns YouTube, and YouTube is the second largest search engine, I believe. Don't quote me on that if I'm wrong, but someone told me that. So why would you not invest? You're investing heavily in your website because of Google, but you're not willing to invest in YouTube. Doesn't make any sense to me, you know. So it's just another string to the bow. It's another way of reaching people, and one that is used massively. So you know, it's just really important, I think, to explore these other opportunities out there. You know, TikTok is another one. I love TikTok, and I've only recently started using that properly. Again, put the odd video out, didn't really do anything, and then I've had a couple of viral videos, and it just goes nuts on TikTok. And you know, so I think you should have to be open to new things, and not that it's new, YouTube's not new, but you know what I mean, like it's new to you if you've never done it before. You need to be open to those things and not be so, I think people are afraid, people are worried about trying to do these things.
Yeah, I think people, in fact, I know, because I've had the conversations, I'm sure you have, is people are worried about putting themselves out there, but actually it has such a huge effect, YouTube, and you hit the nail on the head. It's not a social media platform, and that's where people, it's SEO. I mean, people are, I don't know, you know, you're getting great views, I've seen them, and you know, people pay tens of thousands for that on their SEO through their website, and you're able to get those watch hours. So it's incredible. As we sort of come to a close and we sort of start to finalise, is, you know, for those who, you know, have that entrepreneurial spark, you know, what top tips have you got for someone who's going to try and do big things this year, but to not plateau, but to really stick with their goals of what they want to, you know, achieve this year?
Working with a coach is really useful. Like I had a coach for a while, and it was one of the best things I did. So I think that would be definitely a top tip. Find a coach, find someone maybe in your niche, or someone who's got good testimonials that can help you, because it's very lonely being a business owner or starting your own business. It's, you know, even if you've got a staff, it's lonely, you know, being a business owner. So I think having a coach is a really good idea. But I think plan, focus, and marketing has got to be your number one focus. It has to come before everything else. It was always my number one focus. You know, I didn't worry about doing the accounts and doing tax returns. Like, that was not my concern at all. It was just marketing, new clients all the time. And because I did that, I grew the business really quickly. And if I hadn't, it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have grown the way it did. You know, it still would have grown, but it wouldn't have grown as quickly. Yeah. So if you want to grow a business, you've got to put marketing above everything else, in my opinion. Yeah,
such a huge part. Well, there's some awesome tips. I'm going to put you on the spot now, Jeri. Have you got a book recommendation for the audience?
Oh, God. You know, I read all the time and I'm really rubbish with book titles. I really liked The Chimp Paradox. No, what's it called?
Yeah,
is it actually called that? Yeah, I really liked that one, the one with the chimp. And E-Myth Revisited, I think it's really good. That's a little bit old now. That's a good one. Who Says You Can't, You Do is another good one. Yeah. But yeah, I read loads of books. And then sometimes I get bored halfway through and just start another one. I'm not very good with book titles. I'm sorry.
One of those. No, that's cool. No, that's awesome. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, Jeri. Like I say, I'm glad that you know your post popped up and I managed to grab you there. So awesome. Well, until next time. Oh, Jeri, sorry. If people want to reach out and connect with you, where can they go?
So definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's going to be loads of amazing content going out. So it is literally my name, Jeri Williams. Jeri's Jeri, but I'm sure that you'll put that information on there anyway. And follow me on LinkedIn as well. Put lots of stuff on LinkedIn. So again, just my name, just search that and I should come up on LinkedIn. But yeah, Instagram as well. Those are my main ones: Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Amazing. Cool. Right. Well, thank you so much. And also thank you for everyone who has watched. There's some amazing value. I've learned a lot myself. So, Jeri, thank you. And for everyone else, we will see you all very soon.